An appliance that actually cleans itself is brilliant. A lot of times, I'm barely managing the day-to-day, and so the idea of the appliance, the oven, cleaning itself rather than moi having to spend hours and hours and tons of work scrubbing, that sounds really nice. I'm pretty sure we could have spent far less on our stove and gotten a different one without the self-cleaning feature, but we did get the self-cleaning feature, so why not use it? I admit that at one point in my life, I was afraid to use the self-cleaning cycle on the oven, and I'm not alone in this fear. Besides the whole, I don't really know how to use it and what if I do it wrong aspect of it, there are a lot of naysayers out there who seem to think self-cleaning ovens are terrible things and you should not use a feature that is literally built into the oven. My thoughts are, if you don't want to use a self-cleaning oven, you do you. But I'm gonna do me. And me is a little bit lazy, but I still like having a clean house. And that equals using a self-cleaning oven. Hi, I'm Amy on A Lolly Live, and we are not going to let fear stop us, even if it means conquering the self-cleaning cycle on the oven. First, remove everything from your oven, including the oven racks. If they're shiny metal, then you should take them out because the self-cleaning cycle will actually damage the finish on them and they won't slide in and out as smoothly. I know this because, well, I tried it. I left one in and I took one out, and the one that I left in does not slide as well. So don't do what I did. Take your shiny oven racks out. You need to remove everything from the top of the stove, and you might even want to remove things from the counter around the stove a little bit, and the stuff that is in the warming drawer underneath the stove, that's stuff that you should take out. And as a side note, you should turn the oven light off. Oven light off. Number 2 is wipe up any big spills or debris. All ovens will smoke a little and make a little bit of a scent when they self-clean, but you will lessen that dramatically if you remove some of the debris from the oven. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to clean the oven before you use the self-cleaning cycle. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if there is a big spill, like a wet spill, you should wipe as much of that up as possible, or if there's like larger pieces that you can easily just wipe up with a wet cloth, then that's what you should do. Number 3 is ventilate your kitchen. Turn on the oven vent and maybe the ceiling fan. You could open some windows or doors. You need good ventilation. This need for ventilation is why I recommend self-cleaning your oven in the spring or the fall when the weather is really, really nice out and it's easy to open up the house. Number 4 is keep birds and kids and maybe even some adults away from the area. This is one of those rules that is much easier to follow when you understand why the rule is there. And so I am going to briefly explain how a self-cleaning oven works. The inside of the oven heats up to about 1,000 degrees so that it can incinerate any of the dirty spots inside the oven. In other words, the oven gets really, really hot, including the outside to some degree. And so you need to keep children and pets and things away from the oven, and birds especially, because they are very sensitive to things in the air and there will be a little bit of smoke or things in the air, and so birds need to be moved way away. Also, this is why there might be some smoke in the air or a little bit of a weird scent, because the oven is incinerating all of the dirty spots in it. Number 5. Most ovens will lock the door automatically when you start the self-cleaning cycle, but if your oven has one of the latches, then swing the latch closed before you start the self-cleaning cycle. Now it is time to turn on the self-cleaning cycle and hit the like button to get it going. Actually, you should hit the go button to get the self-cleaning cycle going, but you can hit the like button too. That would be fine. If you aren't sure how to start the self-cleaning cycle, then you can look at the manufacturer's instructions or Google it. I have found that they generally are pretty straightforward, and so it's fairly easy to just push self-clean and push go. While the self-cleaning cycle is running, don't disappear down some rabbit hole or leave the house for a short trip to Target. Obviously, most ovens don't catch fire when you're making a roast or you're baking some brownies, but it is a good idea to stick around the oven and be there just in case. Same holds true, probably triply so, for when you're self-cleaning the oven, because the oven will be triply as hot. Once the self-cleaning cycle is finished, which by the way takes about 4-ish hours, I think ours was 4.5 or 3.5, I don't remember. Anyway, so once that self-cleaning cycle is done, the oven will remain locked for a few more hours while it cools down. And even when the oven door unlocks, the oven inside will still probably be warm. It just won't be so hot that it's like gonna burn your face off by opening it. What's left after the self-cleaning cycle runs is just ash from all the dirty spots being incinerated. And so you just need a wet rag to wipe out the ash. It's that simple. In my oven, you can sort of tell where there were some dirty spots if you look at it in just the right light. But I have to be super honest, I don't care. My oven is clean and I didn't have to do it. All I had to do was like get a rag and like wipe out the ash after the fact. One more note about self-cleaning ovens. Oven cleaning chemicals are not good for self-cleaning ovens. Self-cleaning ovens have this like coating on the inside, some priolectic coating, I don't know, it's a gobbledygook word that I can't pronounce because I don't see it very often. Anyway, they have this coating inside the oven, and if you use chemicals on that coating, it actually damages the coating and makes it not work as well. If you did try to clean your oven before you gave up and decided to use the self-cleaning cycle, well, whatever. But make sure that you clean up any chemicals or any cleaners that you might have sprayed. Clean those up completely before you run the self-clean cycle, because those chemicals will cause toxic kind of fumes, and that's not a good thing. Thanks for joining me on this episode of A Lolly Live. I love you. I believe in you. I know that you're a good person, even if you're a tiny bit lazy like me and you decide to use the self-cleaning cycle on your oven. And even if you decide that you don't want to use the self-cleaning cycle on your oven and use chemicals to clean your oven instead, you're still a good person, so be kind to each other. I'll see you next time.